let's look at the properties of multiplication. And we're going to have Professor Know-It-All here help us out. And it looks like he's got some kind of a sign there. The multiplication property of 0, very easy. Let's say that a stands for a number. If you take that number and multiply it times 0, you get 0. If you take 0 times that number, you also get 0. So a 4 times 0 equals 0, or 0 times 4 equals 0. There, that's a real easy one. Now the next one is also easy. Let's see what that one's called here. Okay, here comes our professor. He's lifting the sign. The multiplication property of 1. If you take a number times 1, you get the number itself. Or 1 times a number gives you the number itself. So 3 times 1 equals 3, or 1 times 3 equals 3. So there's some easy ones. Now let's get into ones that are maybe a little more difficult here. There's the professor. The commutative property of multiplication. That's a mouthful. Let's say we have two numbers, a and b. It's saying that you can multiply them together and then switch the numbers around and multiply them together and you get the same answer. So 3 times 4 equals 4 times 3. Both of them give you 12. Now I think I hear something coming. I better get out of the way. I guess I didn't have to get out of the way. The associative property of multiplication. Let's say that you have three numbers, a, b, and c. So let's use 2, 3, and 4 in this case. If you group the 2 and 3 on the left-hand side, you get 6 and multiply it times 4, you'd get 24. If you group the 3 and 4 on the right-hand side, and you multiply the 3 times 4, you get 12, and 2 times 12 is 24. So both sides are equal. So if you're multiplying, you can group them. Now here is it's called a distributive property. Got one of the Bernoulli brothers here helping us out. Now let's show a specific example of this, and we're going to spend more time with this one here. It says if you take, for instance, 5 times the quantity 6 plus 7, you can take that 5 and multiply it times each number within the parentheses. And on the right hand side you'd get 30 plus 35. On the left hand side you get 5 times 13, and you get 65 equals 65, the same answer. So let's use the distributive property on this one here. It says you can take the 3 and multiply it times each term inside the parentheses, and you get, in this case, 18x plus 27. That would equal the left side. Okay, so let's take another look at another example like this. Oh, there's Hilbert listening to a radio, and it's putting out some waves, and I bet you we're going to get another expression here. Negative 3 times x plus 8. The distributive property says we can take that negative 3 and multiply it times the x and the 8. And so we're going to get a negative 3x, and then a negative 3 times a positive 8 gives you a negative 24. So we get negative 3x minus 24. Oh, there's our next problem. Now we have a fraction outside the parentheses, but it works the same way. Multiply 1/2 times each one of those terms inside. Now, a positive 1/2 times a negative 4 will give you a negative 2, and then you times the m. And then a 1/2 times 10 is 5 times the x, so we get a negative 2m plus 5x. Uh-oh, here comes a train. Get out of the way. And it's bringing us a problem here. A negative 2a, and within the brackets we have negative 3a plus a negative 2. So let's actually write this out. We're going to have a negative 2a times a negative 3a, and then a negative 2a times a negative 2. Now, a negative 2 times a negative 3 is a positive 6. A times a is a squared. A negative 2 times a negative 2 is a plus 4 times the a, so we get 6a squared plus 4a. Now we have one more problem here. Now, notice right away that we have 3 terms within the parentheses, but it works the same way. So let's take and write this all out, multiplying the negative 3x all the way through here by each term. So now we're going to get a negative 3x times x squared. Now on x times the x squared, that x is x to the 1, and you add the exponents when you multiply. So we'll get a negative 3x cubed. And then we have a negative 3x times x. So an x times x will give you x squared. So we'll get a negative 3x squared there. And then a negative 3 times a negative 5 is a plus 15. And then times the x. So in the end we get negative 3x cubed minus 3x squared plus 15x. Thank you.